Hi guys, welcome back to the Totally Magic channel here at YouTube and another magic video. If you've never been here before, then we would really appreciate a little hit on that subscribe button and the little bell next to it. That way you'll be notified every time a new video is put out. The trick today is great because it involves not just one, two, but three spectators. So we're going to have three imaginary people to help us. We have John over here, we have Emily here, and we have Jack on this side. Now John, could you shuffle these cards? Mix them up. Happy with that? Now I'm not going to alter those cards. You've arranged them in this moment in time. And I'm going to capture three moments in time, but not this time, but a time in the future. I want all three of you to pick a random number. Now, John, if you could pick a number between 20 and 30, and Emily, if you can pick a different number so that you don't get the same number, pick a number between 10 and 20, and Jack, if you'd like to pick a number between 1 and 10. Okay, so you've all got your numbers, yeah? So you've got 22, and what's your number? 17, and Jack, what is your number? 7. So you've all picked three random numbers in this moment in time. Now I'm going to write a prediction before the moment happens, because you're all going to have a card selected. Now, John, I'm going to write down a card and your name. So we put John and the name of a card that's going to happen in the moment. Okay, now that's written on here. I'm going to just fold this over so you can't see what I've written about your moment. Now this moment's going to happen. We're going to deal to your number. What was your number? 22. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. There is your card. Happy with that? And of course, you could have had any of these cards because you shuffled these, not me. What I'd like you to do is don't look at it, just put your hand over the top so no one can get a peek at your card. Emily, we come to you. I'm going to make a prediction for you. And so this is going to be the captured moment of your card choice. So I'm going to write down Emily, isn't it? Emily. Once again, I shall hide that moment in time just here. We deal down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Is that the 17th card? We put that down here. Put your hand over the top. Jack, finally we arrive at you and we're going to capture your moment in time. Now the number you chose was the lower one, which was 7. I'm going to write your name on here, so Jack. I think that's captured perfectly. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 7th card. So I captured three moments in time. You each had a random number that you picked. I couldn't have known that. You also had three random cards that were in those positions on there. Now, The first prediction that I made was for John, and I said the 5 of diamonds. And there indeed you did pick the 5 of diamonds. Now Emily, I wrote down that you would pick the 4 of hearts. And I wrote that ahead of time. I captured that moment before you picked that. Have a look. And there is the 4 of hearts. And finally, Jack, I picked your namesake, the Jack of diamonds. What did you pick? The Jack of diamonds. And that is an incredible captured moment in time. I hope you enjoyed that particular performance and trick. Trust me, it works a lot better if you do actually have 3 people to help you rather than imaginary people as I've got here. The storyline of captured moment I think works quite well, capturing that moment, not the moment, but a moment slightly in the future. Now, professional magicians that have been around for a long time will know exactly how this works, because it uses one of the oldest principles in magic, the one ahead principle. This is where mind readers always use this to predict something in advance. So it does use the one ahead principle, so there's nothing new about that. But I do think I've added a couple of things to this performance that just lift it up a little bit, give it just that little extra mystery. So how does it work? Let's go through it. You can always watch the performance to see how it was put together. But basically what you do is you use any cards, so there's no stacking. This is impromptu. So they shuffle the cards and make a big deal of this, because that plays an important part. That the fact is you haven't touched the cards, they have shuffled these. Now once again we'll use the names as I did in the performance. We have John, Emily and Jack. Now these cards are what we call reader cards. Okay, I can see the markings on the back. Okay, so the first thing is do you need a reader deck? Well, not really. When you lay the cards out, you can put them face up, but I wanted that extra mystery of nobody knowing what their cards are, so I prefer to deal them face down, and then they cover the cards with their hands. Now there's a reason why I get them to cover the cards with their hand, is just in case somebody stares at the back of the card, they may see the markings. As you know, a lot of the marked decks that are available on the market are not particularly great. If somebody studies the back, they might just see the markings. Now you can pick up a marked deck of cards quite cheaply from eBay or any magic dealer, and to be honest, we don't use marked cards that often, so you don't have to spend a lot of money on them because they're only going to be used once in a while. So I know that this top card here is a 3 of clubs without even looking. Now I've got to know that because that is going to be the card that Jack is going to choose. He doesn't know it yet, but that is going to be his card, the 3 of clubs. You then get each spectator to pick a random number, but you give them a range to pick from. Now John, he picked between 20 and 30, and he can have any number. Let's say it's 22 as we did in the performance. Emily gets a number between 10 and 20. Again, we'll use the same number as the performance, which was 17. And finally, Jack picks a number under 10. Now you can make the excuse that the reason you're giving them those is that nobody picks a duplicate number. You ask them to think of their number, and then you then ask them. So we got 22, 17 and 7. That's the 3 numbers. Now don't worry, you haven't got to remember those numbers. Oh, how am I going to remember those during the performance? You don't need to. You couldn't care less. But as they're giving you your numbers, forget the 22, you're not interested in that one. It's the other two numbers, because what you need to do is to deduct the low number from the high number. So Emily was 17, Jack was 7, you deduct the 7 from the 17, and that gives you a special number of 10. Now, it doesn't matter what that number is, you just got to remember that number. That's it. Why do I need to do that? Well, that helps us set up for later on. The rest of it is now performance. So you take a piece of paper, a card, or whatever you want to use, okay, and you're going to write on the first slip, not John, which is what they believe. When you write this, you're not writing John, you're actually writing the last person, in this case Jack, and you're writing the card that you see on top of the pack here. And so what I do is I write Jack, and I will put the 3 of clubs on here. I'll fold this over and I just put it down in front of John. Now everything at this point seems quite straight and on the level. You then take the cards and you remind them that you picked a random number of 22. Now when you deal, this is the only move that you do in the trick. You deal down 22 cards, but do you remember that special number of 10? Watch what happens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Make it a bit messy. 9, 10. There's 10 cards. When I deal the 11th, can you notice that I've dealt it a little bit back and I'm starting to make it messy? 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. And we put this card down here. This is his card, the 2 of hearts. We put it there. Now the reason I dealt the 11th card like this is because when I return these 21 cards to the pack, I need, watch, I get my thumb under here and I pick up all these cards and just show them as I throw them back on the pack. Do this in a casual way, don't make a big deal of it. And then drop these on top. You've now done a cut on there. If you didn't quite get that, watch it back again. That's what happens there. You're now all set. You then turn to Emily and then you write on your prediction paper, not Emily's name, you write John's name. Because now, looking here, I can see it's a 2 of hearts. So I will then write the 2 of hearts. But of course, you look at Emily and you say, okay, Emily, this is your moment. And I write the 2 of hearts that I can see there. I fold it, but I've got John on here. Put that down here. We then deal, as we did before, there's no breaks or special moves. You just deal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. There's the 17th card there. Okay, and again, I can see on the back here that it's the 4 of diamonds anyway. Get them to put their hand over that. Gather the cards back on top of the pack. We then come to the 3rd and final one, which is Jack. Now what you're going to do is write Emily on this one, so it's always a previous, and you write the card that you see here, which in this case is the 4 of diamonds. Fold it up, and you, all the while you're doing this, is you're saying, okay, Jack, okay, I'm going to write your name on here, but I write Emily, I put that down. We then deal the final 7 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We know that that's going to be the card that began life on top of the pack. So there it is there. You can get rid of the rest of the cards. Keep the table nice and clear. Now this is the deal. I move these across here while I'm talking about the moment in time. This is the way that I collect these up. And because they're so small, it's not a big deal. Watch. As I'm talking and looking at them, they've still all got their hands over their cards. I grab this one, the first one, I grab the second one, and then I flip over like this and pick the third one up like that. That's it. Okay. Let me just do that again. So that's the third, the second and the first. So I need to change the order. So I pick this one up, I put it on top here, and then as I go to pick this one up, I don't do this, I turn this over and grab it and then keep it this way up. Now, when I take off the top one, it's got John and the 2 of hearts. Now on this one, as soon as I open this up, watch what happens to this hand. I turn it over. Yeah, that's all I got to do. We reveal that's correct. I now open up this one, which is Emily, the 4 of diamonds, and then finally Jack and the 3 of clubs, and there it is. Have a little practice with this. I think you'll love this trick. It's such an impressive trick, and I think with the cards face down and with these little slips of paper in full view, because when you normally do the one ahead principle, you normally write a prediction and put it in a hat or a pocket or a bag so they get jumbled up. I actually like leaving them right in front of everyone. It looks more convincing. See how you get on with that, and that's called capture the moment.